George. 13th win in the King George.
Right, here we are again, lads. I'm coming from live from my new studio. Finally moved in. Been a bit hectic, but there we go. Managed to get together. Obviously, the Christmas calendar's coming up, boys. Hope you've all been good boys this year and get what you want.
Yeah.
Let's hope we get some really good racing. Obviously, the first one really kicks us off with a King George, doesn't it, really?
Big race.
Top racing.
Yeah, well, we've got a bit of an interesting field at the minute, and we've got Allaho, Bravemangame, Jerry Colombs, Shishkin, Raw Pagale, Real Whacker, Pictori. Obviously, we discussed before we just started filming. Obviously, you've got the lights galloping in there, Hemwick, Edward Stone, Froden, My Drogo, Protectorat, Midnight River, and Sham Blue. Obviously, we've already voiced a few opinions. You know, some might not go, as you say, Jay. There's talk of already some that are out. So, who do we like then, lads? Or who we think's going then?
Well, I think it's going to be a small field this season. I think in the King George, and I reckon there'll be an Irish winner again. But I think that there's some best UK runners to take on. So I think I would say Bravemangame will do well, but he needs to step up from his second place races, as in Wetherby and in Haydock in the Betfair Chase. My opinion, I think Bravemangame came out of that race from the Charlie Hall to the Betfair Chase too quick. I think he should have had another few weeks to get himself all settled, and should have gone from the Charlie Hall to the King George instead of the Charlie Hall, Betfair, and then the King George. I think it was just a little bit too much for him.
Conditions had anything to do with it, John?
No, I don't think it would be the distance. I know I'm definitely sure he gets the 3 miles because he has done it. He's won it. He's won the King George. So he's the champion.
He's won on soft as well, isn't it? So you can't even really use the conditions as an excuse.
No, you can't really excuse it. But I like to say, Kempton is a chalk-based ground, so it will dry up quite quickly if it is. Doesn't have to be too testing over there. He's the champion. He's got to defend that title. I think he will definitely run for it. He will definitely run for the UK. Try and beat the Irish boys. I think he jumps well at that track because Kempton is a sharp track. To me, I know Lompresse is not going to be there, but it would have been great to see him there because it would have been seeing him racing there like he was last year. And he got unseated when he finished. When he was coming up to on the last fence against Bravemangame. But like I say, Finestra Williams' stable's absolutely on fire, and she's been winning the big races in the past few months. So I'll definitely I wouldn't put that an each way selection for Royal Pagale because I think I'm hoping that the track will suit him, but I think it'll be a little bit too sharp. But I know he can jump a fence, but it's depending on the actual sharpness of the track.
Did it's come too soon, this one, or?
Well, it could be the same scenario with Bravemangame because of the quickness of coming out. But the only thing is, it's down to the trainer. But for me, it could be. Royal Pagale could be up there, but then you got Shishkin. Now, Shishkin, would he run? Would he actually go off? Don't know. But we had an interview with Nico, and he's saying that they've crossed all the boxes, they've done all the T's, they've signed everything, they've done everything. What actually might happen on the racetrack, because the actual start is near the stables, and that's not really ideal. So he might plant his foot down.
Well, he's only done it once.
Yeah, only done it once. Yeah, but you never know. He might do it again.
It could be an habit he's got into, but
horses are a funny thing. I don't see Edwards. I really would like to see Edwardstone, even though I'll keep mentioning it. Edwardstone might not go because of the stepping that's been tripped with 3 miles. But it'd be good to see him if he does.
Yeah.
but if he does the winner, I think it'll be the favourite. It'll be Allaho. For me, he'll win the King George. He made all at Clonmel, winning by 9 lengths to Jandil. He's up in trip, but he has won 3 miles, 1 furlong at Punchestown. So looking at the actual field, I like to see if Allaho will win it with an each way selection. Be Royal Bugai for an each way selection, and then for JB Brucey bonus for first, second, and third with a tricast, a combination tricast in any order will be Allaho, Bravemangame, and Royal Bugai.
Okay,
there you
mate,
go.
fair enough. I mean, I got to be honest, Mark. I was with Shawnee on the whole Bravemangame. I mean, I didn't think he did a hell of a lot wrong on that run at in the Charlie Hall. And I was quite gutted, to be honest, at ADOT, because I just thought, like he'd just sharpen up a little bit and he'll be bang there for that next race. And obviously it wasn't the beat, was it though, Mark? So what do you reckon then, mate? Do you think he could be primed for this one, or could it just be all a bit too much?
Well, listen, I totally agree with a lot of the comments that James made, about some of the horses and that, but for me, I'm totally with Bravemangame on this one. I think this is his race. He won it last year in the battle to the line with Le Presse. Obviously, we know Le Presse more than likely isn't going to run. Statement by Gordon Elliott saying that Jerry Colomb potentially may not run and stay over in Ireland. Willie Mullin has made a huge statement. If he is to send Allaho over, he's 2-1 in the betting with Unibet. So he heads the fields. What Jamie said about Shishkin, look, you don't know about Shishkin. You really don't. He's only done it once. There's been a lot of doubters out there who's not put the faith in him anymore. But me and Jamie was there at Ascot.
He's turning a bit of an enigma, isn't he, in his old age sort of thing?
Oh, he is, most definitely. But when me and Jamie saw him at Ascot back in February for the Betfair Chase, it was nothing more than sensational, nothing more than the Shishkin that we expect to see. Jumped every fence to perfection.
He was impressive over there. He was impressive at Ascot.
Very impressive. And, we would love nothing more than to see Shishkin have a run. I think he will run. And like I said, it's that whole doubt of whether he'll start the race or how he'll perform, because obviously, there'll be cobwebs to run off. Royal Begale, another good favourite of mine, and what Jamie said about him, and Venetia Williams, she's in red hot form at the moment. And so he'll love running around Kempton. He'll love the grounds this time of year. The Real Whacker is another entry in there for Patrick Neville. I think he's about 10-1 at the moment. My boy Frodon's in there at 66. I mean, look, I'm not expecting anything from him if he does run, but it's his final season at 11 years old, and it'd be great to see him run around again. But I do like Bravemangame, and Harry Cobden at the moment is in red hot form. We had a good winners at Cheltenham most recently, and I think he'll definitely take on Allaho, so being up in trip. We know what Allaho's plan's going to be. I think for Bravemangame as well. I think Paul Nicholls, who's got a fantastic record in this race as well. We know we need to remember that. But I think for me, Bravemangame, I think will definitely get the edge in this race. And if you want to try cast for me, Jamie, if you want to try cast in there as well, I think I'll go in any order as well. I definitely agree with you with Allaho and Bravemangame in the top 3. But my third one, I'll go for the Real Whacker for Patrick Neville. It was pulled up last time, but he had a good end to last season. And I think if he gets a good run around Kempton, I think he'll do well. But Bravemangame is my main selection to repeat what he done last year.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed, wasn't it, when he pulled up there at Cheltenham?
Yeah, he was a little bit, yeah, definitely. But I think that, Kempton's a different track, as we've said, and I think he'll like the conditions, and I think he'll do well. I'm hoping so, anyway.
Okay, fair enough. So, Sean, a silly question.
Yeah, yeah, it is a silly question. To be fair, even if Jerry Colombe had said that confirmed will come over and run, I was always going to back Allaho. The run on his return, I don't think could have been any more impressive. As Jamie said many times, when it comes to jump racing, jumping is the aim of the game. And let's be honest with you, we've watched horses do really well leading up to the King George, and the jumping at that course has let them down. Lost in Translation was one many years back, was touted to completely wipe the floor with the field when going into the King George after his first 2 runs of the season. Just couldn't jump round there. Bravemangame, the only thing that has let him down is that 1 or 2 little chinks in the jumping armour. You know, Allaho was almost foot perfect for a horse that had been out for that long and seemed like he wanted more anyway. To be honest with you, they're coming over the last. Janadil was miles behind. 9 lengths he won it by, didn't he, Ian, Jamie, or something, 9 or 10 lengths.
Yeah.
Janadil's no mug. I know it was only a small field, so you can't read too much into it, but he's still got to go out there and do his job.
Yeah.
This looked like a horse that is coming back for a revival season. Do not be surprised to see him steaming up the hill at Cheltenham in the Gold Cup as well. Because if he comes over here and does well, he only wanted further. He's a proven course and distance winner anyway at Cheltenham. So we know, we know there's capabilities there as well. I just think with the field going from, what is it, currently 16, probably like Jamie said, to what, 6 or 7, do we reckon?
Yeah, about that, I reckon.
Yeah.
When you take out some of the 100 to 1s that are in there, with all due respect to them, like your Midnight Ridders, Maya Drogo, Shamblu, and then you'll lose a couple of the hot favourites, Jerry Colombe already question marks. You're talking 6 or 7 horses.
Yeah.
Do I think he'll front run it and jump him into submission? I do.
Yeah.
Big statement.
Personally, the others have got their merit. Bravemangame is one that I've been saying all season. I feel is worth another go. I'm not saying that I just think he's going to come up against a horse that's too good this time in all aspects.
Yeah, yeah, because Allaho is, like I say, Allaho likes to take them on, doesn't he? Really?
He's a native river type.
Yeah, he's not a sort of hold 'em up type. He's like a can you keep up with me type, isn't he?
Yeah, which he proved. Like coming back, I mean, he's had mixed seasons where he's tried different tactics. They'd sit him out the back at Cheltenham, didn't always work. He'd like to come off just off the lead. It would work occasionally, but they seem to go right this time. Just go and you do your job. The others will struggle to keep up with you.
Yeah, he definitely.
It's basically the instructions.
You definitely see the best of him when they let him stride. I think.
When they just let him jump and let the reins, just drop the reins a bit, let him take control of the jockey as opposed to the other way around. He seems to just thrive in the sort of race that it is, and we know the King George is such a jumping test of ability because they're top horses. You clip one fence, you lose 2 lengths to these horses because they're going away.
Yeah,
this isn't a Group 3, Grade 3 type. This is the next step to the Gold Cup. It shows the stature of where it's at. So I can't personally be more excited about Allaho being back over here than I am now.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare the 2 courses, Haydock and Kempton, they are 2 different types of courses in a world way because of people were moaning about Bravemangame. I've been hearing on Spaces and that and saying, what I was so surprised at Bravemangame. Oh, Royal Guy's an okay horse. Hold on a minute. Royal Guy's a very good horse. He won the Betfair bleeding chase, and also he's gone in had competition in the Betfair chase a few years back with Bristol Demai and all that. There's
show respect, like, you know what I mean. But
people have got strange memories. There's 2 different types of tracks here. Haydock is like a grinding track. It's not as sharp as track as Kempton. Kempton's is a sharp, flat track, and you need to jump them fences. If they just, like Sean says, if they just catch you out, that's it. You can't get the momentum back. Especially around that around the home bend. Especially you've got 2 more fences around the home bend.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a long straight as well.
Yeah.
That's such a tough after 3 miles. That is a tough straight at Kempton.
Look, we've had a few Irish runners that come over. All right, they've won, but they've you know, they're totally different. There's totally different tracks to the Irish and ours ones. You got a few tight ones. Most, you know, all right, you got Limerick and Kilbeggan and things like that, a little bit
Yeah.
tight, and a few up and downs and all that. But you know, some of them, you know, are traditional, you know, national hunt courses in Northern Ireland. I can't have a dig at them and all that. But where you get like some of the spaces, absolutely, literally digging out the UK trainers and digging out the UK horses and that. Okay, our horse racing program is not fantastic and all that, but the only thing is the trainers have got to get the horses out there to get them right and to win races. But the only thing is though, the handicapper's going to go and see them and they're going to put them up so many times, so they've got to go in these big races.
Well, the
And
trainers can only work with what is set out in the schedule. They can't make up their own races. So, you know.
So the only thing is though, and I'm not having a dig at the Irish, but they've got less race tracks than us. We've got about 60. They've got, I don't know, what, 20 or
23, I believe.
23. We've got 60. So hang on a minute. We're a little bit bigger than you. So we've got different types of race tracks and that. So don't have a little dig, because otherwise, you know, hey, sometimes it might have to bite you on the bum sometimes with some of these races, especially with the King George and that. That's why.
To be fair, Jamie, most of those people that you see moan and bitch on Twitter are those that have done their bollocks on a 1 to 4 favourite and they're gutted that it's lost.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Like, we all know and we understand that it's not ideal for jumps from all of. We've been to many, like Jamie Glynn, when we went to Cheltenham, the opening meets up in November, beginning of November, end of October. How surprising the amount of Irish winners were there, and just, you know, they're still bringing them over to win, right? So it doesn't look good on the British side of it. It doesn't. That doesn't mean there aren't really good horses there. Unfortunately, it's like Glenn said, it's finding you've got to find their races that meet the horses' needs. You can't just chuck them into anything. And those people that moan are those that would, you know, they're the sort of people that if Constitution would have gone on that Saturday and they've been bleating on about for 2 years and stupidly went and backed it at 1 to 7 and he hit a fence and fell or unseated Nico, they'd say he's the worst horse that has ever run in Britain.
Yeah.
Right? They're the sort of morons that I have to tune out on, because they are, though, aren't they? They're the sort of people that you look at, you go, you didn't really back that, though, did you? Do you know what I mean? They're the sort of people. They are. They're wallet talkers. You know, we all get frustrated when we lose. We all have a gamble. It's not. I'm not saying I sit there and it goes down the pan and I've got a big smile on my face, but come on, let's be realistic. Yeah, you know, it's difficult, isn't it?
I mean, I know we're on the punting side. It's like on the sport itself, though, John, isn't it? Because we've got so much racing, and the BHA does need to sort themselves out. Yeah. Because the only thing is, though, we can't. I mean, the Irish trainers don't have to go. You know, they're competing each other. All right, fair enough. But the only thing is, though, it's like just people just like moaning about the UK trainers don't know what they're doing. Hold on a minute, you go and speak to someone then, and they will have a little word with you. It's just you know.
At the end of the day, we can't begrudge the Irish trainers coming over and competing for big prizes. So my argument would be not to moan at the results, as Sean said, whatever, or you know, or a favourite getting turned over. My argument would be, well, not argument, but my point would be, well, we need to get our house in order then, so that doesn't happen. And if that's by looking at the schedules and looking at the way it's spread out, you know what I mean? And, you know, like say, have we gone too thin? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think you can begrudge the Irish coming over, and I think you have to just lick your wounds a little bit and get on with it.
I think if it's, you know, like this race, for example, with Allaho being 2-1 favourite, and quite rightly, he deserves to be the favourite. You know, like if I was any English trainer, you know, obviously, yes, you've got to look at, you know, the welfare of the horse, you know, the ground conditions on the day. But, you know, you'd look at it and you think, you know, Willie Mullins has done his own work. Willie Mullins has sat there and thought, right, okay, You know, Allaho, he suffered an injury last year. You know, he's come back. He won convincingly at Clonmel. You know, jumped every fence superb. Won by, what do we say, Jamie? 9 lengths. He won by
9
Clonmel.
lengths.
You know, so one there, and you know, like Sean said, he's coming over. He's upped in trip. He's proven over that distance. You know, like Allaho is, yes, a Ryanair/Gold Cup running horse at Cheltenham. We know that, and you know, you want to take on the best. That's why I think, you know, Bravemangame was always going to go to the King George prior to Allaho being entered into the race. But you know, you want to take on these horses. You know, like the Irish. You know, like what we said, they got like 20 odd race courses in this country. I believe it's up to around 62. You know, so we've got all these top quality race courses in this country, and you know, the Irish are still far superior, you know, to the English contenders. You know, we saw at Sandown in the Tingle Creek, you know, we saw 2 English contenders go at it. You know, Jonbon, you know, he's going to go to Cheltenham. He's going to take on the Irish, you know, in the champion chase, you know. So this is what we want to see. And this is, again, another prime example. You know, we all spoke at the Tingle Creek, you know, last minute, the likes of Shishkin and Constitution Hill being pulled out. That's the difference between people like us, you know, who have the care and the pride and the love for this sport. You know, yes, it was guttering. You know, yes, it was wow. It was just that little bit draining to think that Constitution Hill weren't going to run. But, you know, there's a reason why, you know, that's happening. You know, every horse has a plan. Every trainer has a plan for each horse where he's going to go. You know, and for Nicky Henderson to be at home thinking, this has been an absolute kick in the nuts. I've not been able to run Constitution Hill. I've not been able to run Shishkin, you know, who refused to run at Ascot. You know, so now it's like time's up against him. The Cheltenham's only 3.5 months away. You know, so he's going to at least want to get at least 1 or 2 runs in Constitution Hill, and he's going to go straight to the champion hurdle. We don't know what Shishkin's route's going to be. If he runs in the King George, has a good run, you know, he's still got an entry in the Gold Cup. I still believe he's a horse that can run over 3 miles. I think he's made to run 3 miles, you know. But just it's the difference, like what Sean said, morons. That's being nice.
So we're fortunate, lads, that we have a, you know, somewhat of a foot on the inside, if you know what I mean. We get to see some of these trainers and we get to talk to some of them, and we see the anguish and the dilemmas that they sort of, when they talk to us about, you know, different horses and that, and you can see that it's not that simple, and you can see that they have to put a lot of thought into where they're going to go, what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, you know, what day of the week they're going to do it, what they're going to pack for their sandwiches. Do you know what I mean? It is. They put a lot of effort and time into it, and you can see when. I'm just thinking back to a couple of seasons ago now when Constitution Hill didn't run. Everybody was hoping he was going to run. I can't remember. And we spoke to Nicky and his wife at the time, and you know, Nicky's wife said to us, like, you know, he so wanted him to run, and she said, and not because necessarily the fans wanted him to run. She said, but because we have a plan for these horses and we set out these plans for these horses. And when they don't run, it's more than just, oh, well, he didn't run, so unlucky everybody else. It's like, well, okay, that's put a spanner in the works because now we haven't had that run that we wanted to have. We've now got to find another run, which means more scheduling problems, more travel problems, more you know, you know, like say traveling problems, transition, you know, to get to and from the venues. You know, it's all extra things that they then have to plan for that they wasn't planning for because they thought they were going to do A, B, and C, and they now can't. They now got to think, well, where on earth do we do, you know, C, D, and E?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't you know, it's disappointing when they don't run a course as fans, but as you say, lads, you have to be realistic and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. So what about your selection? Have you had a look? You had a look at yours?
I have, yeah. I got to be honest. I mean, I say I've been a bit busy lately, what with moving and back to work again this week, straight after moving. I mean, I probably would have took a bit of a chance at Jerry Colom's, but if it sounds like what I'm hearing from you, lads, maybe he came out today or over the weekend, that, you know, there's a chance he might not be going anyway, as you say, Jay, maybe heading to Leopardstown.
Are you not surprised, Glenn? Are you not surprised that if Willie Mullins has sent Allaho over, and like what Sean said, could be a Gold Cup contender. I mean, Jerry Colomge is definitely a Gold Cup contender as well.
Yeah,
Are you not surprised that he's not potentially sent him over to take him on and have that?
If he doesn't go, yeah, I will be a bit surprised, because I would have thought, you know, Elliott's been around the game long enough, and like I say, regardless of what you think of the man, you know, at the end of the day, I thought he would roll the dice, you know. He doesn't strike me as a sort of bloke that wouldn't. So I would be a bit disappointed if he doesn't go. But like I say, it sounds like the chatter that he might not be going.
Yeah.
You know, if he doesn't go, well, I mean, I believe Allaho's going to take all the beating anyway. Personally, I think Bravemangame, you have to forgive him for the Charlie Hall. I think you have to, because that was, you know, that one last, you know, he's bang there if it weren't for that. He absolutely was. You know, obviously the follow-up, yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. But then you take on board what Jamie says, you know, don't be disrespectful, but, you know, Royal Pagale's got a good run in when he wants to. Do you know what I mean? And you know, and it's not like he got turned over by, you know, like say a class 4 horse. Do you know what I mean? He didn't get turned over by some horse that's only won once at, you know, Limerick, or once at you know, I don't know, Doncaster. You know, no disrespect to them courses, but you know what I mean. You know,
Yeah.
He's a decent enough horse, as you say, Jay. You know what I mean? You might not put him in the same category as Allaho, as Bravemangame, as Galloping de Champs, as blimey, going back Native River, as Out Yours, you know, and Bouverdares, and, you know, an amazing horses. So you might not quite put him in that category, but I don't think people should be too shocked that Royal Pagale put a real shift in, you know, and capitalised. So yeah, I just think Bravemangame got a few questions to answer, but I think Mark's well within his rights to say, well, no, come on, you know, put your, you know, like say, put your level out, you know, your level head out on, take your betting hat off, as Sean's saying, you know what I mean, and you know, and look at it, you know, subjectively, and obviously he's got a great chance, and he's a great horse as well. But I am inclined to side with Sean and think that, you know, he is taking on horse where he can't afford to slip up.
Yeah.
He can't. You know, he has to be top of his game, in my opinion. That's not to say that if he was top of his game, he couldn't do it. I just think that, like, you know, he was unfortunate with that, like, say, the jump, you know, the iffy one at the last. Royal Pagale, you know, again, you know, sort of capitalise on a bit of a chink on the day. If that chink happens to be shown again, then I think he'll lose again, because I think Allaho is too good not to capitalise on that. If
it's in the name.
Pagale can, then surely Allaho definitely can, you know. And I say again, I mean that no disrespect. I just mean you are talking for me a different level of those two, you know.
If he's to beat Allaho, like, it's in the name. He needs to be brave. He needs to make his jumping all the way around. And like I said, may the best horse win. But what a cracking King George!
It's like an exciting one, and I hope, as you say, mate, I hope he's cracking, and I hope we see him an absolute, you know, on song. You know, both of them, it'll be awesome. You know, and obviously if Jerry Colombe did go, that would, you know, again make it more exciting. Shishkin, as you say, Jay. You know, I and Mark, you know, been very fortunate to see him a few times, and every time he looks absolutely stunning. You know what I mean? It don't look a mark on him. You know what I mean? And why he refused, who knows? I don't think Nicky knows. You know, but
if he goes off and he races, he's got a chance.
Yeah, of course he has. Yeah,
he's got a chance.
Yeah, well, you know, it's the old saying, Jay, isn't it? You know, the old saying, class is permanent. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's still some of that in the tank. You know?
Yeah. There's one more big race left.
If he goes, you know, like, honestly, I'd love them top 4 to go toe to toe. How awesome would that be?
Yeah.
You just need
will we get it? Who knows? As you say, we'll find out. Time will tell.
Yeah. But at the beginning of the race, it's the first 2 or 3 fences, and then you'll know who's going to be right up there. It's like when Shishkin goes off, if he jumps over the first fence well, then you know he's in business. Yeah. That's the thing, you know. So yeah, it's going to be a good.
Well, I mean, we've seen, you know, we've been very fortunate to see both sides of Shishkin at the track. You know, we've seen him, you know, like ping him as he goes, and then we've seen him, you know, humping and bumping over him. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Yeah.
not looking good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's hope we get an A1 sort of performance from him as well, and obviously the others as well. So, as I say, I'll go fast to say, because he sounds like he won't go. You know, and I'll side with Sean then, and I'll stick my neck on Allaho and say that he's going to take every inch of the beating. But I would like to say I'd pick Jerry Colombs, but I say if he's not going to go, then my second sort of or default first choice, one for a better word, will be Allaho, I'm afraid.
Siding with the enemy.
And I have no Irish connections whatsoever.
You might as well go and live out in Ireland, Sean. See if Willie Mullins get you a job.
Oh, I'd love to, mate. I wouldn't be hanging around, mate. I can assure you.
Be straight out there.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be in out of film if he was.
Not a chance.
All right, lads. Well, I think we've covered it enough there, don't you?
Yeah.
Cool. All right then, boys. Well, we'll wrap it up there then. Obviously, again, as Jay always likes to point out, you know, we do appreciate your comments. You know, give us a follow. You know, give us a like and a follow on Twitter and stuff. We do appreciate it, really do. See that. So yeah, all right, lads. Well, I'm sure we'll keep in contact on WhatsApp and many chatting about the race before we go off.
Yeah.
And, I hope everybody has a lovely Christmas. Hope you all have a lovely Christmas out there. And yeah, let's hope we get some fantastic racing over Christmas, and we'll try and get together for anything else that comes up over the festive periods, eh, boys?
Yeah, oh, yes. Definitely. Oh, yes. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas all. See you later, guys. Ta-da.
See you later.
Yeah, brilliant. And you, lads.
Ta-da,
see you
mate.
later.
Bye.
And it is Bravemangame to give Paul Nicholls a record 13th win in the King George.